All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Youngzers episode. Andrew, what is it?
I think
20,
26.
26.
26. All right. I usually look, but I didn't this week, so that's on me. Tapping my chest. That's on me. But no free ads. We got Dan back sipping a Mountain Dew.
Sorry.
Andrew here, and then Roberts. He's out this week. He'll be back next. But interesting pod coming up. This is the first time ever that we don't have any dealers action to talk about, so we'll be reeling in topics, trying to figure out what to talk to for the next couple weeks till I guess the Buccos are back, and then a lot of Pens talk probably too. So,
The Buccos aren't back. There's Kutch is back. That's the Buccos confirmed not back, but Kutch is back. Big news from the Buccos this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how much. Oh no, kitty!
Uh-oh.
We're back. There's going to be like a 10-second. Oh, boy. Anywho, back to the Pens. I don't know how much hope we got on them. It's going to be some somber days here. We're going to have to pull some stuff out of our butts to try and keep this going. But, I mean, if them guys on 93.7 The Fan can go through the offseason of the Steelers and still keep their jobs and have that be a radio station, I think we'll be all right.
We'll be fine, yeah.
I mean, I think people still want to listen to us talk about football in general, so maybe we'll talk about the wild card games a little bit, get a little bit of taste of football still until at least the Super Bowl. I think we'll have a good Super Bowl show. Yeah, Andrew kind of previewed what we might talk about a little here, but what do you guys think we should go into first? Do you want to talk any Steelers updates? There really weren't any, or do we want to get in a couple wild card matchups? There's one going on right now, kind of tight spot.
We can go into the wild card matchups first, then go into the Steelers. The off season's here. As I declared last week on the pod, I will beat Mel Kiper this year. So each week I will be releasing a new mock draft. It's going to be overkill. It's going to be too much, but love talking, seeing the possibilities, for Steeler fans and what they can do. And now that the draft order's set, we can start keeping an eye on some prospects that will be there. And people love mock drafts, no matter what sport it is. So if you think your team has a shot at getting a certain player, you're always going to be clicking on that link to see who's like me, who's some Joe Schmo thinks the Steelers are going to take. Yeah, people are addicted to mock drafts, so we're throwing our hat in the ring here. I'm coming for Mel Kiper. I called him a pumpkin pie eating weirdo last week, and I stand by that statement. I talked to Dan. Dan and I were talking about it. We were on the way to the casino last night. We were getting into some mock draft stuff, but I just want to give Dan a shout out. Picks me up heading down to the casino. Already, that's A1 right there. Can't ask for more. Get in the car. What's in the cup holder? A premium turn tea. That's a 5-star Uber right there.
So
for you.
Oh yeah.
It came with the ride.
Absolutely. So I got myself one, and I was like, you know what? There's nothing that hits the spot when you're driving down 28. You're going to go gamble some money. Nothing's guaranteed at a casino. That's why they're still open, because the house rules. The house has the odds in every game. There's nothing better than sipping on a nice premium Turner's tea. Either down on the way down, you were sipping on it on the way back. I hammered mine on the way down. It was just Pittsburgh was oozing out of that car last night. But
and you know what? You made a good point. You drank yours on the way down. Who left the casino up money? You did.
I did.
In my defense, I was up until I just started. My New Year's resolution. A little more risky on the life side. I started playing some $25 hands, and we got absolutely demolished on the last 3. I think dealer flipped, like 4 cards, 5 cards for blackjack.
Yeah, for 21. Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough scene.
The Youngsters run an absolute heater at the first table, and this older gentleman then sat right in between Dan and I. The vibes changed a little bit. The turning point was I thought I had him pegged. I asked him if he's ever played bocce. He looked like the classic Italian bocce player. Confirmed not have ever played the game of bocce. So the tides kind of turned there. The table went a little sour. He was giving us fist bumps before that. Yeah, I'm tapping my chest on that one. That one's on me.
It happens. I hit, I don't know, 8 or 9 blackjacks yesterday, so I can't complain there. I was hot, but it was fun even after it being flooded by refrigerant. Got to see the tribal chief himself, Hambone down there. I haven't seen him in years, and he's got that long, luscious hair now, so it's good to see him. He always takes care of me down there. I remember when he was still dealing down there, and he would just – me and Luke Werner sat at a table with him dealing one time for 3.5, 4 hours, and we couldn't lose. And then he'd go on a break, and then that's when we'd start losing a little bit, and then he'd come back, and he was just bang, 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 bang. We're hitting doubles. We're splitting. We're hitting everything. It was a great night, but it was fun yesterday. I can't complain. I haven't been down there since last year. I try to get down there at least once a year, and it's almost my birthday, so that's normally when I get down. But back into the mock draft stuff, I do have your mock draft pulled up here, Drew. If you want to go over it, I didn't fill any out yet. This one's interesting. It really is.
So I can't see it on my screen right now, but I have it up on my phone. So the first pick I have, the first round, 17th overall pick, Parrish Johnson Jr. I think the cornerstone left tackle, if he drops there for the Steelers. Dan Moore can play back. He can be the backup, whatever, cut him. I don't care. As long as he's not starting, I'm fine with that. Joey Porter Jr. with that 32nd pick, which is basically a first rounder because the Dolphins had to forfeit their pick this year. I doubt he slips that far. But if he does, I think the Steelers would 100% take him. He's a long, physical cornerback. He'll probably take, you saw that Penn State. He took a lot of pass interference penalties, but it's just because he is a physical corner, which, that's what you deal with. He's a great cornerback, whatever. So I just want to get your opinion, your two opinions on those first two picks. Do you see it shaking out that way? And then I'll go over the last ones. I got some points to make, but what do you guys think they target the first 2 rounds?
The Steelers. I'm not much of a mock draft guy. I've never been one to, analyze college to pros. I think this will be the first year maybe I try to do that, but I'm sticking with my gut. I'm sticking with we need the big boys up front. Maybe get a little antsy at the cornerbacks, but I think we need the beef. Where's the beef? Pittsburgh's going to be throwing it back to Wendy's, or you have all the old women in Pittsburgh yelling, "Where's the beef?" So I think we're getting some big boys. We want the big boys, Play the song. We want them big boys.
So here's what I'm thinking, and it kind of scares me because Peasy's son he's one of the better corners in this draft. Top 2, top 3?
I'd say top 3, yeah.
Top 3 corners in this draft. There's rumors that the best corner in the draft will be gone before the Steelers pick. But I have a feeling that if he falls to 17, that the Steelers take him there. And I don't like that pick. But Mike T being Mike T and having ties to the Steelers because of his old man, I could see them taking him there at 17 whenever they really, really, really need offensive linemen. But then again, you need to bolster that defense. And I understand that it's the highest paid defense in the league, but it's getting old. And you never draft corners well. We've talked about it over and over. We're beating a dead horse at this point. So if you think that he's a surefire home run, he's your guy, then I could see them picking him there, and I don't agree with it. But that's why there's people in that organization that get paid way more than I do.
I agree. I think you have to be like a star corner, like, bona fide star.
Yeah.
Look what the Jets did. They picked Sauce Gardner, and he literally elevated that defense to top tier level, rookie of the year. And I think that should be the only reason they go cornerback first, is if there's a guy like that available that's going to be a night and day, like lockdown guys like, Diggs or like any receiver one, Justin Jefferson, like anyone that's going to put the clamps down.
Well, in your division, you got guys like Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
You got, the Browns
Amari
always,
Cooper,
Amari Cooper, yeah.
Yeah.
And
no one too crazy.
Nobody, Baltimore doesn't have anybody great, but they might go get somebody. They might, there's rumors D-Hop might go there. There's rumors Lamar might leave, whatever. You just want, you want your number one to be able to lock up their number one. And I understand that, and I could see it happening. I wouldn't agree with it, like I said, but I wouldn't be too mad about it, I guess, because they have fumbled cornerback, first round, second round pick cornerbacks so much. It's almost embarrassing.
Yeah. Call me crazy. Do you think they go D tackle linebacker before cornerback?
See,
I'd be more concerned with stopping the run than getting, shredded.
So,
through the air.
I did, I've been doing this for about over a month before, people started declaring. And the way the board shakes out for the Steelers at 17, the majority of the times, like I've been simulating a lot, it's almost like there's corners that will be there at 32 that, another name that I keep an eye on is Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. He could be there at 32. But once Parrish Johnson and the kid from Northwestern, Peter Skronsky, I think his name is, he's been projected top 10, top 5 pick. It kind of falls off in terms of tackles, going down there. Whereas you can get, there's probably like 3 or 4 corners in the range of Joey Porter Jr. and Christian Gonzalez where you can be more comfortable taking that corner, with that 32nd pick. But if I know Ryan can't see the draft right now, but the 48th pick, I just went best available there, which was an edge rusher, Byron Young from Tennessee. So that that's where it starts getting a little murky. Not murky, but you have a little more flexibility. But I do have the beef in the 3rd round, 80th pick, Moro Ojomo, defensive tackle from Texas. Didn't know much about him. It was the worst draft grade on there. It was a C pick. It was a reach. But anybody whose nickname is El Toro and is a defensive tackle, sign me up. That's, give me El Toro and a cornerstone left tackle. Ryan's calling for the beef. The women of Pittsburgh, allegedly, according to Ryan, are calling for the beef. That's
the
where
old ladies.
Yeah, the old ladies.
Like the Wendy's commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So why not, look at successful teams in the draft? Not necessarily winning successful, but I guess drafting successful. Why not try to model it after like what the Seahawks did? They got they just drafted for value, like you said, that last pick.
Yeah.
But they got 2 stud tackles, Kenneth Walker, and then what was that guy in the 5th round? That cornerback, defensive player of the year? Defensive rookie of the year, sorry. Potential. At the 5th round.
That's rare, though, for a team to hit that many draft picks right off the gate. Like, the Seahawks, I think, had way more holes than the Steelers did. So the Steelers, it's pretty evident that they need to draft, offensive, defensive line, and a corner. Those would be my top 3 things. Linebacker, I wanted to take one in this mock draft, but it didn't shake out that way. There was a couple where they were able to snag Jack. I had them taking Jack Campbell, the linebacker from Iowa. But the last 3 picks, just to run that off real quick. So we went tackle, corner, edge, defensive line. 4th round, I took safety Jordan Battle from Alabama, just because you don't know, Trey Norwood, I don't think, had a strong finish to the year. You don't know what's going on with Terrell Edmonds yet, whether he comes back. So it's always good to have that depth, special teams kind of guy. I mean, you don't want that in the 4th round, but if you can get an Alabama safety, SEC, I'll always lean towards that. They're big time players. It's the best conference in college football. I always go there. And then the 6th round, I took cornerback Tyke Smith from Georgia. So I had them doubling down on corner. I think they try and go some younger depth there. Akello Witherspoon was not healthy this year. James Pierre is a special teamer that filled in well at some points. You don't know what's going on with Cam Sutton. So once they're able to start re-signing some guys or making those moves, this is obviously going to change a lot. And then I kind of went with a homer pick in my 7th round pick, center Juice Scruggs from Penn State. He has what the Steelers like. He can play, multiple positions on the offensive line. It's a little depth there. So I think the 2 positions that this one obviously didn't have that would like to see would be inside linebacker and receiver, which I think they do address. But it just didn't shake out that way for the one that I did. But I think the first 2 rounds were, easily you go corner or left tackle corner, and then, you go from there. I see a lot of people saying they're going to take Jordan Addison 17th. I think that's just an unneeded luxury pick at that point. You saw it with Pat Freiermuth a couple years ago where it's a solid pick. It was a position of need, but, would they be better with Creed Humphrey at center right now? Yes,
because then you wouldn't have had the whole Kendrick Green situation and going like that. I could understand because people were trying to say that they wanted to be like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I understand that. I get that. Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison. I get that. They had a phenomenal year that year at Pitt, but this is a business, and you got to do what's best for business, as they say. Taking Jordan Addison, your first pick at number 17, is not what's best for business. You're just showing that you want the fancy toys and you don't want the old farm truck on the offensive line that you need to do your job and keep your franchise quarterback upright. You just want to get him nice fancy toys. You can't have both, and if that happens, forget about it. I'll be so hard on the Steelers from now on. That would just be a fumble. That'd be a muffed punt by every word. By definition, that is a muff. You cannot take a receiver there because I think they're okay at receiver. That's not a position of need. Now, if they want to draft one late, because DJ was saying that on Twitter, I get that they hit home runs on them. 4th, 5th, 6th round picks of receiver. They hit home runs there. They can do that very well. But you got to get them bona fide studs in the first 2 rounds, either offensive lineman or cornerback. And I think that they'll have a good draft.
I mean, you look at the wide receiver core. It's going to be Pickens and Deontay as your 1 and 2. After that, do they? I think they cut Gunner to save some cap room. They can save a couple million cutting him.
He stinks.
Yeah, he stinks. Steven Sims basically took his job. I think he's going to have a roster spot there next year. You got Miles Boykin, whether he's back or not. Great special teamer. Bigger body on the outside. He can play there. The wild card, I think, is Calvin Austin. People are banking on him. He missed the whole year with a foot injury. So how do you bank on that? I know they took him with a decent pick last year. They invested a good bit in him for where they took him. If you're not sold on that, I think you do take a flyer on a wide receiver. 5th, 6th, 7th round, somewhere around there. I'd be fine with that. But this is a draft where you're taking a corner early, and then it's meat and potatoes kind of guys.
Hogs.
That's how I look at it.
You're taking hogs.
Yep. And I hate to say it, but that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, like Kenny and Jordan Addison, aren't that level that we need a pick of that value that high. I feel like that takes us right back to square one where we were at the beginning of this year, where we had too many cooks in the kitchen, aka our receiver room. We got rid of Chase Claypool. Now we got to capitalize on that pick that we were given. That probably Chase Claypool wasn't even worth that much. We're lucky to get basically a 1st round pick for Chase Claypool, who probably has 4 catches for 40 yards ever since he left the Steelers.
I don't think he had that much, honestly. So
maybe I'm giving him like credit.
They traded for him, right?
What's that?
What?
Bears didn't win a game after they traded for him. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. No,
they won 0-8.
Yeah, probably.
And then the Steelers go like 7-2 without him or whatever.
They ended the year on a 4-game win streak. So
yeah, like you said, it was too crowded, and I like I've said before, I don't mind Sims. He good special teamer for sure, and then I don't mind him in the slot. Let's see if Austin comes out and put him in the slot or whatever, flank him out wide. There's a lot of what if there, but I think that they're okay. That is not a position of need, like we've said. There's too many positions of need to be spending that. Yeah. Like you said, Ryan, a very valuable pick on something that you just don't need.
And see,
they're going to think
go around.
You got to think not in terms of this guy's good, I want to see my quarterback thrown to him, but long-term wins, or is this guy going to get me that extra yard? Or is this guy going to give Kenny Pickett an extra couple seconds to be able to make a pass or block his blindside or keep him protected or give Najee the gap to, run, like have a nice run. So you gotta think we have the flashy toys like that. I think with the skill positions are all there.
Yeah.
Najee's looking healthy again. He was a question mark at the beginning of the year for us, I believe. He just didn't look the same. He was hurt, but I think all those positions are well taken care of. Like I'm okay with our receivers, our running backs, even our quarterback right now. But it's just the big guys, the big gritty guys up front. That's what we need.
Like you look at, and like I've been looking at free agents too, like the free agent class. So like inside linebacker, the only one that I think that they would target would be Tremaine Edmonds if he doesn't re-sign in Buffalo. Yeah, and that's another thing you got to factor in. Like the wide receiver class, their last year's was loaded. This year's, it's not going to be the same. And I don't think a younger receiver in that Steelers receiver group helps. I think they go out and sign a veteran that can kind of, be a teacher to these guys, kind of give some of that presence. And just looking at that, there's not really too much there. I could see them maybe going after, just looking at so here's the top 5 free agents. I only see them signing maybe one of these guys that have interest in. I don't think Nelson Aguilar, is a Steeler. Sterling Shepard, probably not. He's probably get too much. DJ Chark, he's younger. Randall Cobb, old as dirt, don't care about him.
Retiring.
This 5th name, though, I think would be a pretty good addition if he doesn't re-sign. Marvin Jones. I mean, he was the veteran leader in Jacksonville this year. He's productive. He knows his role. He can be a mentor. I think a Marvin Jones, I wouldn't mind him, helping round out that receiver group. He doesn't need to be the number 1, doesn't need to be the number 2, but I think if you're looking for a veteran to sign, with the Steelers, I think Marvin Jones would be the logical fit. Julio Jones, no. And then you have Alan Lazard, who will probably get some money. Byron Pringle doesn't do it, then it just drops off from there. So that's the name that I had circled out of those top guys. What do you guys think?
I have a hot take. I feel like the Raiders are going to be sellers, and maybe Devontae Adams will come the Steelers' way.
Not happening.
Derek Carr out of town. Devontae in black and yellow.
No, I would love to see it because he's going to take over Deontay's spot, and that's the other thing. He wants to boo-hoo and whatever, all that stuff you see about Deontay this week. Get out of here. You want to boo-hoo and stuff because you're not the number 1, and you wanted all this money, and you didn't even know where the sticks were every time you caught a pass. You were running backwards. You thought the other end zone was yours. I'm tired of the drama, and it always comes from the Steelers wide receiver room, and it's ridiculous. Yeah. And the only thing I'm going to say to touch back on that Jordan Addison pick, if you do that, it just makes that George Pickens pick look almost, I wouldn't say worthless, but not as meaningful to me. Because you didn't reach to get him, and he's blossomed. He's your number 1. Why do you want a Jordan Addison who's gonna take reps away from that? I want George Pickens to get the ball every chance he can. Deontay, I'm sorry, you can boo-hoo all you want. I'm tired of hearing about that guy.
Was Deontay tweeting?
Tweets that don't anything. Yeah.
He removed them from his Instagram. He unfollowed them from this and that.
Not. He hasn't had him in there for a while, so that one's actually
okay. I saw that, but I heard the same thing.
That is the pettiest thing as a grown man and a professional athlete to do. Oh well, I'm mad at this organization. I'm going to unfollow them. Like they care. They're the ones paying your checks. I mean, there's got to be something in like PR or something, or the Players Association. They got to write something up. Like, if you're going to be that petty, they can just like forfeit your contract. Because I don't want somebody that petty on my team. I really don't. And how does that hold up in the locker room? How does like Cam Hayward not go grab him up and be like, dude, like stop being so goddamn petty?
Here's what I'm saying. If I'm Deontay Johnson, I'm happy as a clam. This other new guy comes in, young guy, let him get the ball all day and get hit. I'll just run 5-10 yards and then run the other direction, not get the ball thrown to me. I don't care. I'll go home, play some Xbox, and not have to ice myself up after.
He made
get
his
paid
money.
Millions? Heck yeah.
If anything, you should kind of be happier that, okay, there's a new number one receiver. That should free me up and, helps the team out more where, Deontay is a number two. That's a good number two on a football team. You're upset that someone came and took your job, took the number one spot, whatever, work your ass off in the off season.
And free Gatorade. Those things are chock full.
Be a good teammate. And I think of like the AB Juju Smith-Schuster when that all happened. Juju had a phenomenal year when he was the number two because AB was getting all the double coverage and AB still got his. I understand AB still going to eat when he was in his prime and he was just unstoppable. But there's ways to go about it, and I just don't think this is the right way. And it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. You just why are you so petty? Over what?
Isn't that when Deontay started coming around as the number one? So he's been in that spot. When Juju was the number one, wasn't Deontay the number two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Deontay's the number one and Pickens is the number two. So it's just like it's a ladder. Next year Pickens will be the one, someone else will be the two, and he'll start going on. It's a cycle. Yeah. But like not to see that pattern is kind of, I don't know. I'm surprised that professional athletes haven't seen that pattern.
Just have two receivers that are happy that they're both good and doing well.
I wish. That's the problem with that organization is all the drama starts in the wide receiver room. Tell me whenever you heard of the drama coming out of the defense, minus somebody going over and going into the wrong huddle and being a schmuck. But I mean, you never hear about the linebackers hating each other. No, they're playing as a team, as a core, as a whole unit.
Yeah, and you see you saw them get upset, like Minka yelling at Cam Hayward after that penalty, which wasn't his fault.
No,
those two guys are all. Minka's an All-Pro. Yep. Cam Hayward should be an All-Pro. Yep. They're competitors. They've earned the right where if they're disagreeing with each other, they're going to sort it out, and they're playing well.
That's a different kind of. That wasn't drama. Yep. That wasn't petty stuff. I
agree.
You don't even hear about it at like the running backs. Najee could have boo-hooed, put his bottom lip out, and took his ball and went home, but he didn't. I mean, Jaylen Warren was running hard, but Najee understood he wasn't 100%. He wouldn't come out and say it, but it was for the better of the team.
Yeah, and I think you look at that whole situation. All right, they got a legit number two running back in Jaylen Warren. That's not a hot take. He's proven that this year. And Najee, he realizes that, okay, I got a guy that can take some of the workload off from me. I'm taking less hits. I'm fresher. I'm more effective. And we're winning. That's what it comes down to.
And that's huge in the fourth quarter and late in the season, too, because Najee looked great down the stretch. Mm-hmm. He did. And I know it helps that the offensive line started to gel and was making holes and stuff, but you're not carrying the ball 500 times. We don't need you to. Jaylen Warren can take, 250 snaps and then give, let's say 150, and then give Najee 350. You're going to be fresh. Why on earth is it always the wide receiver room? Well, I'm not getting mine, so I'm going to be mad. Why?
Yeah, that's the other thing, though. I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate. I think with any team, the wide receiver room is going to be the most likely place that drama is going to happen because that's the only place you're not guaranteed, I guess, to get the ball. When you're on defense, you're going after the ball, getting tackles, so there's not going to be much drama there. Running backs, if you're going to get the ball handed off to you. Like you said, though, with like Najee, that situation. But if you're a receiver, it's got to be a little tougher because if you are wide open and you're getting overlooked, how frustrating can that be, Or if you're not getting thrown to, you're not getting looked at. So I can see where the frustration is. But at the other end of that same like spectrum, I guess you'd say like if you're winning, it shouldn't be an issue. You're there, you're paid to win games. You're paid for your team to win. You should be happy. That's the end goal of being a professional athlete is to win games. And the Steelers, they had, I'd say, a season that was way above expectations.
Oh, yeah.
As a team, I think we can all agree on that. But I think Deontay is just taking it to a personal level. Like, oh, I didn't play as well as I should. Like, more in a selfish way. So,
but like, I'm gonna argue against that. You have guys where, all right, it's Deontay who's gets a lot of criticism online. He sees that. Professional athletes see that. He's getting upset, but he's doing his cryptic tweets, shit like that. You had Chase Claypool, who was, I'm a top 5 receiver in the league. You're not even a top 5 receiver in the league if you're creating yourself on Madden, playing on rookie. I don't care. You got those guys. George Pickens, you look at him, he is a competitor. He was frustrated. He wasn't getting the ball. He wasn't going on Twitter and bitching. He wasn't having meltdowns. You'd see him frustrated on the sidelines. If you're a competitor.
He had that one meltdown. I'll say that.
He did, but it's more of, all right, he's a rookie. I'll give him a little bit of a pass on that,
Yep.
But he's out there, and you know how he takes his frustrations out? He's blocking cornerbacks, putting them on their ass.
Yep.
I see that as a different, like George Pickens, you look at him in college, the character issues are overblown. He has that, that little bit of a screw loose. They got that dog in him where, he's physical. He wants the ball because he knows, he can. Deontay, he gets the ball to run backwards. I think he's a good receiver, but he's not a number one, and I'll stand by that. He's overpaid 100%.
Yep.
I think it's just different mentalities.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, you could say the same thing. They get the ball spread around. CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown. They have receivers where they're getting theirs. You don't see them having those meltdowns, and the receivers that you do see having the meltdowns, like OBJ's last few years in New York. You're not the same player after you leave. I mean, hey, you want to go somewhere where the quarterback's worse, or you want to throw your tantrums. It's easier for corners to get in their heads too. Look at Josh Norman and OBJ.
Yeah,
they were beating Carolina and the Giants. You look at that Andre Johnson, Cortland Finnegan back in the day.
Yep.
It's easy to get in those guys' heads. Pickens, you think twice about doing that because he'll come after you. He'll put you in your place and still get his.
And I think you brought up a great point there. I think it's all what's in between your ears, right? It's all up here. A lot of that game is mental. So if you let yourself get to yourself and you get down on yourself and you get so frustrated with yourself because you're not getting the ball and you're not producing the way you can. Defenses are going to see that. Cornerbacks are going to see that. Safeties are going to see that. And you might start keying off on things, and you're just going to implode on yourself. And then you have that timely drop or that fumble, or you don't get the first down. And then now they're not going to throw it your way because you had that timely drop or that fumble, or you didn't get the first down because you wanted to run backwards. But am I going to give it to George Pickens? Absolutely, because he's fighting for that first down. He's getting to the sticks. He's not dropping the ball. And I believe that kid when he says he's open 90% of the time. I really do because he has that fire, and you could just see it's a different kind of attitude, if that's what you want to call it, an attitude that he wants the ball, not just because of my personal stats. I want the ball because I want to win, because I want to get that first down. I want to get into the end zone because I want to win. He played at Georgia. He was bred in it. So it's just a completely different attitude, different mindset between those two. And I'm just over the petty shit.
You know what? Yeah, you know what his mentality kind of reminds me of too? A little bit of that Hines Ward in him. Hines Ward, he'd make the plays. He wasn't the biggest receiver. He was a physical receiver. Yes. He wasn't getting the ball. He was out there run blocking. If crackback, he was crackback blocking Keith Rivers and breaking his damn jaw.
Yeah.
If they didn't outlaw crackback blocks, George Pickens would be putting people to sleep. Because he's just that type of player. He's got that mentality. I love it.
And sorry, Ryan, I'm going to jump in here again. That's what you want to see out of your receivers because they're invested in everything in the game plan. So if you get one guy who's slacking or one guy who's taking a play off, it might not work. If you're not running your routes, even though it's a run play, or you're not run blocking, George wants the team to succeed. And I love that you brought that up, that he reminds you of a Hines Ward, because Hines was the same way. Didn't matter if he had 0 catches or 10 catches. He always had a smile on his face. It was almost like he was blessed to play the game and didn't care if he got his as long as the team got theirs. And that team won. Those teams won. And so they knew.
Like, you look at Chase Claypool, run plays, the carrier gets to the next level. He's not blocking out there. He's just jogging out there. He's not. George Pickens is blocking the hell out of someone. He's mucking it up. You even see Kenny Pickett on some of these end arounds where he's out there throwing his body at somebody. That's the kind of player, you see that as a fan, you're getting pumped up.
Absolutely.
Your teammates, that's how you bring the energy. If you're a good player, and this goes for any sport, if you're a scorer, take basketball, for instance. We coach basketball. If you're not scoring, you find a way to make an impact on that game. You're not scoring, there's players out there, we'll grab 15 rebounds.
Yeah.
That's taking 15 possessions away from the other team. You're limiting second chance points. You're doing the dirty work, and that's how good teams win. You have players that if they're not producing in one aspect of the game, they can make an impact in another one. And that's exactly how I look at George Pickens. He's not getting the ball. He's still run blocking. He's being physical out there. He's making an impact in different ways where, the average fan may not see it, but his teammates damn well do.
And I think that's where the modern athletes kind of turning. The mentality of athletes are starting to switch. You can definitely tell. They want the highlight plays. They want, I want to score. I want the yards. I want the catches. It's I. It's not we anymore.
Yep.
I think it's more how it looks good for me personally than what's the best for the team. And I think that it's detrimental to sports. It's more me now. Yeah. And I think we're just going to see more of it. I hate to say it, but I think it's becoming more of a me thing than anything.
Now, I understand that they all have these incentives, right? You score 10 touchdowns, you get an extra 500. I'm okay with that. Like, I understand that. It makes you want to go out there and play your best. But this age of fantasy football is really tarnishing the game, if you ask me, because it's, well, I got to get mine. And I'll keep hammering this home. George Pickens knows what it takes to win because he played at Georgia. Where'd Deontay go?
Toledo.
What did they win?
But the Toledo Cup.
But you made it.
I will not tolerate action slander, Dan.
But here's the thing. Here's all I'm saying. You made it to the NFL. You'll bust your ass. George Pickens ain't afraid to get his nose dirty. That guy knows what it takes to win, and it's a team effort. It's not a me, I effort. And like you said, with if somebody's not scoring, go grab 15 boards. You love to see stuff like that. You're not catching the ball, run block harder. Or if you're in a triple set over there and it's a screen pass to George, Deontay, get your nose in there, block a corner, block a safety, block a linebacker coming. Stick your nose in there because then it's a team game. It's not high school, so you can't win on the back of a good receiver and a good running back. This is the NFL. This is the top dogs. This is the big leagues. Play as a team, and just back to my point, that those teams that Hines was on, they won all the time, so they knew what it took to win. It wasn't a me. It wasn't an I. It was Anton Andoel. It was Hines Ward. It was Plex Burris,
Antonio,
Antonio,
the boss, Willie Parker. Did you see Jerome get mad when Willie Parker was the number one back? No, Jerome was okay with it because now it became the third down back, and he had, what was that one stat line? He had 4 touchdowns on 3 yards. He had that 1 year.
He had 5 carries for 3 touchdowns and 4 yards. Like, Jerome was probably happy that he wasn't getting gapped.
That's a team. That's the thing. That's a team. And I want, as a fan of a organization or a college or even my alma mater, I want to see them play as a team. Because you grow these bonds and you win. You're successful when you play as a team and you're not, well, I didn't score 30.
You saw that culture shift, I think, in the Steelers change after those veteran leaders started to retire.
Yeah.
Like Paul and Mullen, those guys.
Farrier.
Then you got Mike Mitchell coming in and, AB. And you really did not, Ben was a leader, but there's only so much you can do as one.
He was quiet.
But you have to have a leader in almost every positional group.
Yes.
You have to have that veteran guy. And once those guys left the Steelers, they were never really able to replace the leadership in the locker room, I feel. You just saw that fall apart. The offensive line especially. You had Pouncey that came in, stepped in as a leader, but up until then, you had Max Starks. You
Yep.
had all those kind of guys that they were solid guys.
Ramon
They
Foster.
Ramon Foster, exactly.
Those guys.
Yeah.
And like you said, the positionally, you need a leader. Look at that defense in, was that 2008 when they won the, any of those guys. Lawrence Timmons was there.
Timmons was after that.
No, Timmons was there. Okay. Larry Foote, maybe.
Yeah, Larry Foote.
Larry Foote. Woodley. Was Woodley on the other side of Harrison? But the only Ryan Clark.
Troy.
Deshae Townsend?
No,
that's not who I'm thinking about. The Ike Taylor. That's who I'm thinking of.
Taylor.
But any of those guys would be a leader on another team, and you had them all on your team. And the offense was younger then, so you rode the backs of your defense, and everybody was going to listen to that defense. I just, like you said, I just feel like they don't have those veteran presences. Cam's there. I mean, I would listen. I would go to war with that guy.
Absolutely. They have those like Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Minka to an extent. Those are leaders. But
that's what I feel like. There's only two real leaders. Do you see TJ Watt as a leader?
He's still too young, if you ask me. Yeah.
I see Cam, and that's it.
Absolutely,
I don't see anyone that he could really. When I think of a leader, I think of someone you can stick out there to represent your team and speak at a high level. I feel like Cam Hayward's the only one that I'd want to put out there and speak. I think Minka's still too young, and like you said, TJ Watt's still too young.
That's what I mean. And you look at you look at that defensive line from back in the day. Aaron Smith, Brett Kiesel, Casey Hampton.
Yeah.
You have three leaders right there where I don't think that's your starting defensive line. That's all leaders.
Yes.
Your linebacking core, all leaders.
Yes.
Ike Taylor, Troy, all leaders. You had a room full of men. You had a room full of veterans that knew what it took to win. Nowadays, they don't have that.
And I feel like it's easy to have. I'd rather have a team full of leaders on defense than on offense. Because imagine how that humbles you as a young offense getting beat on by the starting defense.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be better at a teaching point for the defense to teach a young offense. What they're doing wrong, and then if you have a good defense, just picking apart, demoralizing your first team defense all day.
Yeah.
So I think I'd rather have that.
Take it in you guys' case. You have your JV try to score on your varsity. And they just. They just stuff them the whole time, and they're going the other way, or they're picking off passes. That would be demoralizing. But then you're going to listen to those guys because those are your leaders. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ryan.
Yeah. You think about it, we've talked about this, and we talk about it, and this is often a tangent, just talking to players. Back in the day when we were growing up, and it's funny to say back in the day, it was it's not that old. But, this is just a difference I see in just the mentality now. Back when we were playing, we'd be playing pickup outside against guys that were 5, 8, 10 years older than us. And learning how to play the game against those kind of guys where we'd just get run off the court or, there's one of us out there. That's what makes you better, learning how to play the game and playing against better competition. Because when you start playing against kids your own age or, people your own age, all right, you're a step above because you have that. Nowadays, I understand it is demoralizing, to be playing JV against varsity. But, you look at the bigger picture, you're going to get better.
Yeah.
Playing against better people. Yes. That's how I look at it. And that's what I keep emphasizing to them. JV game, we lost by 40 points Friday night. They're angry. They're down. You go in the locker room, you remind them, all right, you're playing against varsity guys. You're playing against sophomores and juniors. You're freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're learning. This is a learning experience for you. It's tough to emphasize that after something like that happens. But as a coach, we see that we have to remind ourselves. These are just kids, right?
Yeah.
They don't understand that right now, but the bigger picture they will. And that's just the nature of the beast.
That's why backtracking a little bit when Andrew said playing with guys 8, 10 years old. That's why I will always SWAT. I don't care how young you are. If you're coming down the lane and I'm somewhere on defense, I'll SWAT literally a 5-year-old kid. I don't care. So you know what? When I was 7 or 8 and I was getting swatted, that second time you come down on offense, you're thinking a little bit at that point. Instead of me letting you, go up and shoot a little dinky layup and give you your little, free shot. No, I'm coming at you. I'm putting that into the fourth row. Because, at least you're going to learn something. Because if you do that in a real game, say you're 8 years old and you go up to your buddy, you're like, oh, I'm just expecting a free shot. You know what? You're going to get swatted by someone your own age.
Yeah.
You'd rather get swatted by a 25-year-old me than, 8-year-old little Timmy. I'm going to teach you,
I can respect that, yeah.
I got to get my stats up too,
Yeah, numbers don't lie, right?
Yeah, numbers don't numbies. I'm all about the numbies.
I know, yeah. But anywho,
what are we talking about? Steelers stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're getting to the end of that road for the day.
I mean, I'm going to keep doing the mock drafts. I'm going to start doing some position. I've never done this before. I've done mock drafts, but I've never went back and extensively watched tape and stuff like that. I'm gonna do that. Going forward, I like to see the tendencies and I'm always used to scouting basketball, getting matchups, tendencies, how people are. I want to try it for football. So yeah, like I said, Mel Kiper, pumpkin pie eating, slick back hair weirdo, coming for you.
Minus the Super Bowl, we got the Combine to look forward to. So that's probably the biggest thing. What is that, March?
March.
I think it's earlier.
March.
Is it early March?
Yeah.
I thought so because Super Bowl's second week of February. So, but we'll see. It's an exciting time because we have such high picks and we have some needs. So we'll see if, like I said, the Steelers have people in that organization that get paid way more than I do. They know what they're talking about. We'll see if it shows up on the field and produces wins. That's all I care about as a fan. Does it? A win's a win. I don't care if it's by 1 or 100. A win's a win.
Yeah. So before we go off the football talk, Ryan, I need you to clear up some rumors. Is there any truth that you have entered the 2023 NFL draft?
Much like every year, I am declaring I'm yet to get picked. I'm Mr. Irrelevant, so I've never been picked, never been signed. So I think I'm throwing my hat in the ring again. I might have to make like a combine tape or something. We might have to do like a Youngzers combine, maybe.
Oh,
5-cone drill.
I think
maybe get 40.
I think that would be fun. Just us four getting out there and do all the combine drills to see like average Joes, right? Because you think it's just like I wish at the Olympics they would have one average person do every discipline that Tom's going to do the 500 meters, somebody else does just to see how great these athletes are. So us four, just regular Joes, we played high school ball. I played high school ball. You guys played basketball. Whatever. Yeah. We have a little bit of athleticism in us. I'm almost 30. I'll be 30 in 2 days. But I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be fun. And maybe we could live stream it even or vlog it.
Yeah. As long as we have oxygen at the end of the 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say, do you think I'm getting a sub 4 or a sub 5 40?
You get a sub 5, I think. Easily.
What's a good one? Like 4.2?
That's
or 4.3? Isn't 4.3? 4.3 is like really good, right? Like 4.27. That's like elite.
4.340 is like real fast.
Isn't that elite? Yeah, like 4.3.
Yeah,
I'm getting a sub 4 maybe, like a 3.8.
No way. Dion didn't even run that. And he ran out of his limousine and ran right back in.
Me, buddy. Okay. Dion ain't me.
All I'm saying is I ran a 5.1 back in high school. Yeah, it's declined.
Listen, I feel like the start's the hardest battle. The start's got to be the
I'd be the classic person that would perform poorly at the combine because I am very limited in my athleticism. Like the cone, what I would be horrible at that. The vertical. Coach Davies quote, my senior year of high school, we're doing wall jumps. His famous quote, I bring it up to him all the time. I'm on the wall. It's end of practice. I'm gassed. I wear size 15 shoes. Big feet. That's a lot to try and get off the ground. He's yelling, I couldn't fit a piece of printer paper underneath your shoes. So I would not be good on the vertical, that's for sure. But if there was a grit combine, I'm testing off the charts there.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
I think we should just throw shot put in there just for the hell of it too. NFL combine plus shot put, just shot putting casually.
How about that? A Youngzers. We'll do a grit combine.
Yins Olympics.
Grit combine. Okay, I like it. Keg
Yeah.
toss.
Log toss. Like those Celtic competitions where you got to flip the giant log one time.
That's the cable or something like that, ain't it?
What's it called? We all get kilts.
Oh.
We'll have to do one to see who can haul the most in their.
We already know who that's going to be.
Not you.
No, it's going to be me. Yeah, that's easy win. We can't give anyone like an easy win, so we won't do a haul off.
You see, you're already writing it off that you would win because you're so scared that you're going to lose. So.
No, it's too easy. I don't want any easy wins, Dan. Sorry, haul off.
We'll have to put blackjack into the grit combine. How you respond to adversity at the table.
Connect four.
It's called the caber toss. Caber. I knew that
log over log.
Yeah,
that's got to be so hard.
Oh yeah, they say the hardest part is getting it up and stable. You ever watch Highlander games?
Yeah, they go up the shoulder right there, right? And they
but it
run forward and then flip it.
I don't think you could be resting when you're running with it though.
How do they get that off the ground? Now that you think about it. Do they put it up on their shoulder and just slowly drag it, go to the front?
I don't know. I'm not a Highlander. I couldn't tell you.
Or does it start from an upright position?
No, because it's laying down. We'll have to go to Highlander games. They have them. Yeah. They have them over the summer somewhere. We'll have to. There we go. Youngsters trip to Highlander games.
Listen, we got a lot of Youngsters trips planned. These better come to fruition. What did we say? Oh, that was it. So we're done with football talk now. We're going on a grit talk. This could actually be a phase of the grit combine. All you can eat sushi restaurant opening down in Greensburg. Who can eat the most sushi in an hour? Sushi rolls in an hour. Grit. Ryan, how many do you put away? Yeah.
Are we talking rolls, or are we doing that sushimi? No,
rolls.
So roll.
I don't like sushimi that much. It's good, but I don't. I like it in moderate. You can't eat a ton of that. That'd be crazy. I'll say, are we going with the same roll, or is this we need to have checks and balances here if we're doing this?
You can have whatever rolls you want, however many of them you want.
Let's say there's a ton of toppings on it. I say if you just give me a California roll.
See, that's the thing. No, you can't just eat California rolls.
I'm thinking
I'm stamping that one.
All right, size-wise, California roll size.
Okay.
With nothing extra on top.
That's fine.
I think
that's fine.
I could eat, let's see, pieces. I'd say 25 to 30 maybe. 20 pieces. 20 to 25 pieces in an hour maybe.
So is that 4 rolls about? 3 rolls? What do they cut them up into? 6s? 5s?
I don't know. So a piece maybe this.
Yeah.
And then maybe this thick. I'd say about 20. I wouldn't be hungry after 10. I'd be forcing myself 20.
Soy sauce or no soy sauce?
No soy sauce. It takes up space.
Wasabi?
As a hauler, you got to know what fits into spaces.
Yeah.
So,
and you know
that liquid takes up that little extra space. So yeah, the sodium, the soy sauce. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's just in the hauler's manual. I don't know if you ever got it.
All right, so grit combine. We should do one from each sport. Hockey, what's the grittiest thing you can do? Block shots.
Cutting somebody with a skate.
Oh,
we can have Luke just take clappers at us.
Okay.
Last person standing wins.
Right. Do we get
basketball
a cup? Do we get protection?
Yeah, you get protection. I'm not talking a puck.
What about shin bones? Elbows? We need shin protection.
No.
Hockey players have. They're not going out there without shin and elbow pads.
We're not going against hockey pucks.
Yeah, we are. If it ain't a hockey puck, I don't want it. If this ain't a grit competition, if you don't want the hockey puck, no helmets either. Old school.
That's fine.
Grandfathered in.
I'll let the lettuce
clappers. Go. I get a helmet though.
Okay. Yeah, you're too young.
Caller of the year on it.
Oklahoma drills.
Oklahomies. I did.
You guys would have scramble brains, I'm telling you, because I'm hitting you with these front 2 screws that sit right here constantly. You guys aren't going to like it.
I'd have a few finesse moves for you. I'd probably hit you with 1 and fool you.
Bud, You'd get up not knowing where you were. You'd think that the sky is green and the ground is blue. I'm telling you.
I'd have
That's
a
already
finesse move for you. I'd fool you one time, I'd fool you.
I'd give you
You might
one.
get me next time,
I'll
but
give you one. But the next 30, oh boy.
I'd finesse you probably. I'd give you a 50-50 split. I'm finessing you 50, and you're catching me 50.
I'm catching you clean 98
Zero
times.
times.
98.
Yeah, he's too wily. I think he hits you with the finesse moves more often than not. I'll say that.
We're going to have to go
The
shut him up.
ooh-wop. Do you ever hear the ooh-wop doo-wop?
No, I didn't.
Exactly. You ain't touching me then. You never hear the ooh-wop doo-wop? You ain't touching me.
Man.
All right, so grit combine. Hopefully, we have a long list of things planned for 2023. I will say that
It's going to be a big year.
it's going to be a big year. Yeah. Ryan's got the lavender on right now, so that's. I don't know if would you consider Ryan's shirt gritty, Dan? The little lilac lavender action going.
Looks powder blue to me. You a closet UNC fan or something?
It's like a purplish blue.
Okay.
I don't know. It's probably just the lighting.
A little Tar Heels action for you?
It was a Christmas gift. I don't really wear purple, but it's comfy, so I'll wear it. But I think it's like supposed to be a golf shirt, but I don't really golf in the cold, so I don't know why I have a long sleeve golf shirt. But
It's not very gritty of you.
Of me.
Yeah.
I'm the grittiest person you know, by far.
I don't know. You couldn't haul
you're
a dress.
just a troll. That's
Yeah,
all you are. That's
Haul a
it.
dresser. He can't golf in the cold. That is 2 strikes on the grit scale right there.
I was squeaking squeaky toys in the store. That was gritty.
That's not grit. That's just annoying. And trolly. Trolly.
Yeah.
No, but looking at the rest of it, the Pirates brought back Koch. Great PR move. Whatever. They signed an international prospect.
It's just a way to get asses in the seats.
That's
honestly.
Yep.
Yeah. The Penguins stink. I'm not even getting into that.
They won 2 games this week. They lost 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's slowing down in sports right now. I mean, baseball season. I'm not looking too much forward to that. I mean, opening day will be fun. Dan looks like he's constipated right now. I know he's not keen on that. I know I'm not either. The Penguins. Usually we can rely on the Penguins right now to be carrying the city. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So
it's somber days, man. And I get that the Steelers overexceeded this year. I understand it because then I thought maybe the Pens would be the only team to keep us out of the darkness, but it's looking grim. You can't keep a lead. No 4-goal lead is safe with that team. They have problems on the back end. Jari's hurt again. They're handcuffed by the cap situation. It's all Ron Hextall's fault. I don't want to say it's all his fault, but it kind of is because you look at the big signings or the contracts he gave out to Kapanen and Carter, Dumoulin. I know Dumoulin's was already done, but you can't ship these guys off. You need a little bit of help. You need to bolster your bottom 6, and you can't. Who were they? Freeman? Weren't they trying to bring him up? They were having problems. He's up here now. He should be a staple, but
Hyman played his last shift yesterday. They said it was with 9 minutes left in the second. Like, you're getting nothing from your bottom 6.
No. And that's what sucks. And it was nice to see that Sullivan sat Cappy down and then he come back the next game and had the Hattie, but he's quiet again. You paid him as a 30-goal scorer, and he's got what,
maybe
6?
10.
I don't even think it's 10. I think it's 6.
At most, I'd say.
And we're this far in the season.
That's generous from me.
Hextall, I don't want to say ruined the team, but he whiffed big time in the expansion draft where they lost Brandon Tanev, and then he traded Jared McCann.
Yes. So you lost 2 pieces there.
Yeah, Hollander and a pick, and McCann's looking like he's going to be a 40-goal scorer.
Yeah.
He's playing really well in Seattle. So, I mean, just dark days ahead. How do we get through it?
That's why we got some challenges rolling up. We might have to do the challenge with the MLB. Honestly, the basketball one's off to a hot start. We got people talking about it all the time, like talking about their teams. I'm excited about following mine. Virginia, they got electric Ben Vanderplot or whatever his name is. Big stash, big hair, electric. Love it. I'm loving my team. So
Indiana
Yeah, we
stinks.
have a lot to talk about.
Hey, I'm
Bad.
loving my team too. Iowa State took Kansas, the number 2 team, to the wire yesterday. They lost 62-60.
Had a chance to win it too at the
did.
buzzer.
They did. So they moved up from 25 to 14 this week. I don't know if they'll move too much this week coming up. I don't see them going down, but they had a couple big wins. They got Texas coming up, so on the road at Texas, we'll see how they do against another top 25 team. We'll see. I'm excited.
I'm glad you two are enjoying it because Indiana stinks. And I told Dan yesterday, we're on the way down, I will not be investing money into the striped overalls. Just not happening. The way they're playing. I'm probably going to be one of the people that ends up getting one of the replacement teams whenever we do that. They look like absolute dog shit. They beat Wisconsin. Sorry, coach. I know that's your team. It's embarrassing they lost to Indiana. I don't know what to tell you. The Hoosiers, I told you, as soon as I put them in, I'm following them on everything. The first alert I get, Indiana trending away from being a tournament team. And I just sat there. I was like, fantasy football, shit on me this year. Yeah. The next challenge is looking the same way. I don't know what karma I have accumulated.
The MLB challenge, you're gonna get the Oakland A's.
I don't even doubt that. I bet you I'll get them or the Pirates.
Or the Pirates, yeah.
100%.
But
down.
Yeah, it's.
I'll
touch on Pitt real quick. Lost to Duke, had a chance to win that one. They were up 11 going into half, and then ended up losing by 8. They kept it close. It's tough that they don't have that. What the hell is his name? Hughley.
He's done for the
guy.
Yeah. They said that is he trying to get a medical red shirt? I think I heard that.
Is he
today.
the one that's sitting due to mental health?
Yeah.
Which put out a big post on it.
It's tough. Yeah. And like I'm not saying that's the days and age that we live in, because that should be important to people. It doesn't matter if it happened 10 years ago, 20 years. A lot of this stuff was undiagnosed, and it's tough. But to see that Pitt was out rebounded big time by Duke, that's what hurt them. But I just hope the best for him. And I like the way Capel has this team playing as a team. Like we said with the Steelers, gritty and stuff like that. So I'm excited. They'll get a couple guys back for next year too. But I know that we're not through this year. I'm sure that they just beat Georgia Tech yesterday. So they might make the tournament or have a high seed in the NIL. That's where they're at right now. They're one of the first teams out, and then they'll have a higher seed in the NIL, or they might be one of the last teams in. And
I think they'll be one of the last teams in.
They're a bubble team for the tournament right now.
Yeah.
They're there. They're in the conversation, which is, I think exceeding expectations for them this year. Definitely, they'll be an NIT team. That's
non-NIL. What do I think? Sorry.
No, but yeah, it's good to see Pitt basketball, back on the upswing. Always was a fun team to watch growing up. We talked about that last week. All the old school players, that we grew up watching. Kevin Stallings ruined that program. Your son's a subpar MLB player. I don't care if he can frame pitches. He can't hit for shit. He fell off this year. Jacob Stallings is a good guy, but you can't have that legacy of your dad just ruining Pitt basketball and think you can get away scot-free. It's just not going to happen.
People don't forget.
We hold people accountable here.
Yeah. That's the podcast we live in. That's the podcast we host.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rubber stamp it. We keep them accountable. People don't forget.
Yeah. We don't forget. That's for damn sure.
No.
But that's all I got on sports. We're probably about an hour in at this point?
Hour and 3 minutes, almost 4.
Hour and 3. Dang.
3.
With nothing to talk about?
Hour and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sierra Mist is officially being retired, in case anyone...
It's now Starry.
Yeah,
it's
Amanda
Starry
was telling
now.
me that. I was like, I didn't hear anything about that. Okay.
Yeah,
I never heard anything, and I was at Giant Eagle, and they have it posted up in front of the self-checkout. I was there last week, and it said Starry. I was like, what is this? Is this something they're pushing? Then I found out it's Sierra Mist rebranded. So Starry is now what Sierra Mist was.
It's just Starry, not like Starry Mist? It's just Starry.
No, it's just Starry. Yeah.
Is that a Pepsi or Coke product? Pepsi. Pepsi product.
Pepsi.
Right.
You could have fooled me and just said one or the other, and I would have thought they're the same thing. Sprite and Sierra Mist.
Sprite is number one. I'm the rankings expert here. Sprite's number one. I'm officially moving 7 Up to the second slot there. You don't rebrand Sierra Mist into Starry or whatever the hell it is. Think you can pull, the wool over the consumer's eyes. It's just not going to happen, Pepsi. Third
You know
on the
what?
rank.
I'm putting Starry 1-1. It's a bold move. I respect it. It's kind of like Washington crossing the Delaware. Yeah. You don't expect it to happen. Yeah, Dan, right there.
It says
I didn't even know you were wearing that.
Yeah,
I didn't know you were wearing that.
What are the
Iconic
odds?
moment right
It says
there.
Booze Cruise on it though. There's
Iconic moment.
There's
Podcast
kegs.
history.
There's kegs and stuff in the boat.
I didn't even know you were wearing that. That's what a reference. But yeah, sneaky move by Pepsi or Coke. I don't even care to know whose umbrella that's under, because it's probably the same thing. Yeah, but I'm Team Starry.
Are you going to do next week? Will you do a live Starry review on the pod?
I will. I'll
All
drink
right.
it out of class. I don't even have any classy cups or anything.
I want it straight out.
Maybe
the
I'll drink it
2
out of my Minions mug.
Okay,
That's fair.
Yeah. So Starry review next week. Look forward to it. Do we have any other segments? Jag of the week.
I ain't got any.
No,
I have a scholar of the week.
I don't have a Jag of the week.
Play the
I have
scholar
a
on us
scholar.
real quick. Yeah.
You know what? There's enough anger. There's enough hate in this world. For a week we'll flip it around. We're changing it from Jag of the week for a week to scholar of the week. It's unsung hero that I crossed paths with in my life. I was in the doctor's office just getting some blood pressure done. I roll up the old sleeve. The lady goes to put it on. She goes, "Hey, that's a big arm right there." You know what? You know what? That's my scholar of the week right there. Right hand up. That's what she said. So that's a big arm right there, and it was my left. Not even the dominant arm.
The last thing this world needs is your ego to be pumped anymore. That's the last thing that this world needs. And she was just with the bike pump out there.
You know what? She had to get the bigger cuff out. So
yeah, do you have to walk through doors sideways too because your head don't fit?
I did. I was walking like this the rest of the day.
I bet you were.
You're
invisible lat syndrome.
Yeah. It humbled me a bit.
No, it didn't. Stop it. Stop it right now.
No, it didn't.
I was like, "Thank you, ma'am. Like, I appreciate it. I don't even, I don't go to the gym or anything." That's what I told her. I was like, "I don't even go to the gym or anything."
You know what? Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is episode 26.
We got to stop this train of thought.
Yeah, we're out of here. What episode is this? 26?
26.
All right, everybody, thanks for stopping in, tuning in. Hey, like, follow, subscribe, all that jazz. We appreciate everything you guys do because this wouldn't be possible without you, because then we'd be talking to nobody, and we don't want to do that. So, but
we don't want more. Yeah.
Any last words from everybody else, minus Ryan, because I don't need any more ego-ness out of you.
No, Starry review, left hand up, baby.
Jeez.
Let's get to before the end of January. Let's do it.
157 right now.
157 on YouTube.
You want to get to 200?
I want to.
Let's do it. All right, folks. Push it out there. Let your friends know. Let your friends know. Let your dads know. Your dad's friends. Hey, anybody.
Let your grandma's sewing group know.
Yeah.
Let bingo night know.
Let everybody
know. If you're an old lady
know
out there, let bingo night know.
Yep.
Mary Sue, if you're punching your bingo card right now, punch the Youngzers subscribe button.
Pro Bingo podcast. Remember that.
Pro Bingo.
Folks. Pro Bingo.
Pro Bingo. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bingo.